What's up, guys? Vince Friday here. Welcome to my top 10 games. And pretty much, basically, I'm just going to call it the Vince Game Awards. I know I'm supposed to do the Webtoon Awards. I don't know what it is. I just been coming back to gaming. I just have a rebrand of just like, you know what? I'll come back to gaming. I'll do Let's Plays and gaming, see where it ends up. And that was like early January. And here I am now. Did my first stream this year. Did my first gaming live stream or pretty much gaming walkthrough in forever for almost 5 years since I started YouTube doing gameplays. And pretty much, yeah, I'm back to my roots of actually doing some gaming content, and here I am. So I wanted to actually make a top 10 list, but also I want to add a whole bunch of other things into it. And this is basically for this year. To be honest, I've been preparing myself for this moment of actually doing, top 10 or doing some kind of variation of my own game awards, even though that no one really cares about it. A lot of things I do in this channel is basically a passion project. So this is one of them. And this is going to be in the ranks of just like me making content that I kind of enjoyed and also that I'm more part of, since gaming has been my thing for, ever since I was 2, basically. So yeah, here I am in my mid-20s actually doing this, and pretty much, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of stuff, but I organized it for your enjoyment, and hopefully this is not gonna be too long, because this is just my opinion. Understand that this list has a bunch of games that probably wasn't released this year. It probably was announced last year. And it's not perfect, but who really cares, if we gotta be honest, because I don't work for IGN, I don't work for any major company. There's no freaking sponsors in this video, as if I ever got one. But yeah, this is gonna be kind of like, one of those moments where I'm gonna be doing my top 10s, my list of variations of just like how I make it, but also adding in some other stuff like mentions and also the retro awards, aka games that was like released back in freaking 2005 or whatever. And yeah, me playing it right now thanks to the power of emulation. That's right, I said it. There should be an emulation awards. If not, this is basically the closest. But I don't play everything. There is the amount of stuff in my backlog. There's too many games. Too many Steam wish lists, too many Switch wish lists, and understand that a lot of these games that I played, first off, I want to say this: you're not gonna freaking see me or see a list of major top tier. Like, you're not gonna see Alan Wake 2 in this one. You're not gonna see freaking Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, you think you're gonna see that? No, you're in the wrong place. Understand that my PC, and I'm pretty much I'm proud of it, but yeah, my PC's crap. I don't know anything much about graphic cards. I don't know what's the best graphics cards. I don't know what's the best freaking SD cards or all those cards on cards. So if you think I have like a major tech PC, no, I don't. Okay? You think I have that kind of money? I need freaking Jeff Bezos money to ever have a PC ever good of even playing like Liza P, which I was planning to play, which I did play actually. And, but not only on my brother's like PS5, but for my computer, where most of my gaming happens, and also my Switch, yeah, there's no freaking major frame rates or anything like that. It's nothing fancy, and it's kind of unfortunate because the amount of games that I wanted to play are usually working in major systems, and I just want to ever know if I can ever play them or if I'm ever going to be alive to play them. Like, I know for a fact that the goal, and this is the reason why I haven't been doing much YouTube in the first place, is that I've been working just to pay off for other things like, I don't know, an apartment, but also like a better PC, a better system, better systems. Okay, I don't have a Steam Deck, I don't have a freaking retro handheld, I don't got none of that. Okay, this is poor gaming. You're in poor gaming territory here. You're an underground freaking, like, I'm literally the homeless bozo in the in the gaming world. Okay, I'm a homeless person. Feed me. Do you have money? Do you have money? Do you have any games? Yeah, I'm those guys. Okay, I rely on free games, emulation, and pretty much just anything to save a buck. but I did spend a good amount of actually getting some good games that are kind of surprisingly cheap. And here I am explaining you and telling you what games that I've been playing. And also there's some streams of me playing these games. So let's get this started. And we're going to start off with the mentions. So honorable mentions, and these are pretty much in no direct order in any sorts, because later on we get into basically the top 10s, which is the retro top 10s and the top games of 2023. So for the honorable mentions, before I begin, and also after that, I'm going to be doing the worst games of 2023, which is basically only 2. There could be some more if I actually figure it out later on. Who knows? We'll find out. But honorable mentions is Adore. Adore is a Switch game that is basically a monster taming, one of those genres in terms of like, and it pretty much has been out the Switch for a while a bit. I did stream the game. I had some good moments of it. It was so much fun. It was a thrilling, very fun, and also addicting, monster taming, Pokemon, replacement. It's basically Pokemon and League of Legends together, and pretty much the concept of actually roguelikes. And when you would think it would be like top 10. And for sure I was going to give it top 10. But the problem is that there's some missing components to the game, or at least some components that it doesn't explain to you. Like, how the heck do I heal my characters? Like, my character has been freaking poisoned for the last couple of hours, and yeah, here I am in level 4 of actually just wondering, like, how the heck do I heal my characters? Like, that they're dead at this point. Okay, and also my main character is like, I can't heal him. Like, there's no way to heal. Like, are you serious right now? There's some parts of the game where it's just not clear, where it doesn't explain to me. But I feel like it could have been something. I had some amazing moments in the game, but sadly I had to delete it because I was just getting a headache of just like wondering how to freaking upgrade, or how to actually, I don't know, go back to full health. Yeah, it's a problem. Maybe there's a patch for it, but sadly, yeah, I just couldn't put it. Other than that, let's move on. For another honorable mention is Little Goody Two Shoes. This game is terrifying. It is horrifying, okay? And it's a cutesy game. It's a beautiful game. I get nightmares. I literally got nightmares from this game. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I start to seek for Jesus after this game. Like, for anyone playing this, I'm just surprised you're not possessed at this point, because for crying out loud, the game is terrifying, okay? Shoot, Layers of Fear is not as terrifying as this one, but for this, there's just something about it that is just creepy, Like, I don't know what it is, and I don't want to know, but it is creepy. There's so much of it, but it's such a good game. It's such an amazing... It's just that I wish you were in a place where you're tame enough to actually, develop relationships, but as the story goes on, then you pretty much miss like, when you get to the end of the whole story, you can't really be settled. You can't actually be settled. And that's the problem with the game. And I've been following the story of Little Goody Two Shoes for the longest time. I've been looking forward to it. But I just wish you can just settle. I just wish you don't have to worry about, your sanity, or worry about hunger, or worry about anything like this. Or worry about your friends, like, dying or whatever. Like, for crying out loud, game. Like, just let the main character that I forget at the moment, because I haven't played it in a few months. Like, let her live. For crying out loud. Let her live, at least. Let Elise live. Okay? And pretty much, it's a good game. Like, pretty much it matches the content that I've been pretty much putting out there. The GL kind of content, because it's basically... It's a girl's lover, a girl falls in love with another girl, kind of like storyline to it, It has that LGBT representation. But at the same time, I can't settle, and it gives me such a headache for that. Like, I don't like that. However, I couldn't help myself like the story. I like the game. I like the mini games through it. I like the, the visuals. It does feel like a very fairy tale, like ancient game itself, but with new mechanics, and just, it feels new. Other than that, my next honorable mention was Chants of Sennaar. Chants of Sennaar, I don't know what to tell you about this game or how I can describe it. All I can say is that Be creative, knowing that you will put words with your own words to actually have a better translation. You're basically creating your own language within the game. And it has an amazing concept, actually narrative and puzzle driven. And pretty much, yeah, there's a lot of puzzles in this game. You have to do a lot of puzzling. And I'm not much of a fan of that, but it is a beautiful game. You know, with the sand castles and the people within it. It has this mystery and also very ominous to it with the sands, and I love it. I can see how this game is very praised, and also when I stop playing it for a stream, yeah, I just don't feel interested to come back for whatever reason. And it's sad. Like, it really sort of reminds me of Monument Valley in a ways, but yeah, I just couldn't come back to the game. I don't know why. I don't know. But next up is another game, is Astro Aqua Kitty. This is a shoot 'em up. This is one of those games where back in the day where you shoot 'em ups, you know, like laser blasts everywhere, and pretty much you play a bunch of kitties in a kitty, you know, planet. You're in a different planet. It's like usually a water type planet. It's crazy. The story is all over the place, you know. Just basically the origin or the lore behind it. Yeah, I don't need to get into that. But the game gets harder. Knowing that you're shooting just nonstop, I really recommend this game if you ever want a bit of a challenge. If you're really thinking that you're up there, okay? Especially when it comes to shoot 'em ups. Or, you know, shoot 'em ups in the sense where you're shooting all over the place, where you're trying not to die. And you get power-ups. You get, like, it's a perfect arcade game, you know? Perfect steps, you know, a lot of grinding. But at the same time, I recommend it for anybody that's a fan of shoot 'em ups, especially shoot 'em directions, okay? It's not shoot 'em ups. You're not shooting up. You're shooting left and right and all day, night. I'm telling you, it is a fun time. That's for sure, but it's challenging. It's really hard. I got so much rage from the game. Oh, man, it was hilarious. But I swear, you know, most of the times, as much as I want to throw my controller off the freaking sea, this game itself is a lot of fun. It's hard. It will kick you in the nuts or kick you somewhere around there. It will choke you. It will not give any mercy. It will not apologize to you. It will break up with you. And you're going to be like, damn, my heart is broken. But it does it in a smooth way. I don't know what to tell you about that, but yeah, that's my way of describing the game. It's adorable with the kitties. It's fun, arcadey. But damn, it shows no mercy. It shows zero mercy. Amazing game. Other than that, another honorable mention is Sea of Stars. Only played the demo. I can understand, you know, Sea of Stars is kind of like one of the few major games in this list, to be honest. There's some major ones, you know, just wait till we get to the main awards. But yeah, Sea of Stars. And also, I didn't play, like, pretty much speaking of Sea of Stars, and to that note, Echo Chambers, okay, or Chain Echoes. The name is confusing. Is it Echo Chambers? Is it Chain Echoes? Is it Chain? I don't freaking know, okay? But this one is actually in neck to neck to Sea of Stars. And this one actually, I'm not sure if the same creators that made Sea of Stars. It sure has that same inspiration of Secrets of Mana that actually is, you know, Sea of Stars inspiration. But also Chain Echoes really kind of dives into that, you know, these typical RPGs and whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed so much of it. And also another game, honorable mention, I've been playing. I can't add it to the list because I just started playing it. Vernal Edge. Oh, God, I love Vernal Edge. It is so good right now, okay? For a freaking platformer. I feel like if I play Blasphemous, man, this would showcase you, like, the reason why I can't play Blasphemous, okay? Or Blasphemous 2. Is because for Metroidvanias, I will be a sucker for it. Shoot, Castlevania, I don't feel safe ever playing Castlevania because, you know, I will be too addicted to it. My backlog is too big as it is. People are talking about, like, even today, how good, like, freaking Castlevania on the Game Boy Color, on the Game Boy Advance, and also on the PS2. Nope, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, okay? I will get addicted, okay? I will start scratching my neck. Castlevania, Metroidvania. I need more. You know, I don't want to be that guy, okay? I'm already dealing with enough of this, okay? I don't want to have another addiction. Other than that, speaking of addiction, platformers. I'm a huge addicted to platformers. You think Metroidvania is another thing? Shoot, platformers. I'd be like, platformers, 3D platformers. Now, for this one, I gotta give honorable mentions, and this is basically not one, but 3 games. It is the Tori series. I love Tori. Tori Saturn, Tory Treaty, and recently Tory Christmas Special. I'm telling you, Sage be giving us goodies, and I just love all the Tory games, all the platformers, just how fun it is. Just basically something that reminds me a bit of Sonic. And yeah, maybe there's a couple of Sonic games that I could have mentioned, but do you think I care about today's Sonic? Oh man, that's another topic. Better than that, let's talk about the worst games. The games that were complete BS. The games that were ish. The games that you should stay away. Well, except for the second one, which maybe you might like it, but don't. Just don't. Just don't touch these two games that I'm about to tell you right now. I can go for 5. I can go for 10, but I only get good games. Okay? I like my good games. So, for this first one, Thief Simulator 2 on the Switch. Not on the PC, on the Switch. This game is utter garbage. It is trash. It is broken. Oh my goodness. Why? I literally unlock like the level 4 door. And every time you come back to that place, that door doesn't stay unlocked. No, it locks every time you enter in. And the concept of the game, it's freaking called Thief Simulator. You're stealing things, okay, from other people's neighborhoods. And this one makes it hard. It's not supposed to be realistic. It is just crap, okay? It is crap. I don't understand what I'm doing here at all. The moment I unlock it, you can't open the door. So yeah, the game is broken. The game is broken, and I'm waiting for a freaking update. I wasted $10 on this crap. It is so painful. It's not only painful, but it just hurts. I bought this game, and I heard it was bad. I thought it was gonna be like, yo, okay, I love my Sly Coopers. I love my Thief games. I love my Metal Gears. I love stealth games. Yeah, this one just doesn't care about that. It doesn't care about the concept. It doesn't even care if it's a game or not. It just wants to piss you off, okay? This game is trash. You know, I should have listened to the reviews when I bought this game. Don't get Thief Simulator 2 on the Switch. Get it on the PC. The PC is where it's at. Is way better. It's more responsive. It's more like levels and more stuff. But for the freaking Thief Simulator 2, it is samey. It is the same thing that you do every time. It is a waste of money, okay? I don't want you to find out. I wish I could spoil it to you, but the game is so broken is that you can't even go to the ending. You already unlock all the levels. Like, it's just so anticlimactic. It is horrible. Don't get Thief Simulator 2 on the Switch. What's up, guys? Okay, guys, Vince right here. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm editing the top 10 game awards. Basically, I'm editing the video, and I forgot to add this in the worst games. I don't know why I forgot about it. Probably for a good reason, but I have to mention this as a game that you should never buy, especially if you're a fan of Miraculous. It is the worst game. I had another second option there, and I feel like I might as well edit that out because I'm gonna put this in this particular game. Okay, it is so bad. It is beyond bad, and I completely forgot about the game. But when I was editing, it just reminded me about this game, okay? I completely forgot about it, and for a good reason. But yeah, Rise of the Sphinx is broken, it is lag, this is terrible for anyone, especially not only fans of Miraculous, but just anyone looking at this game and thinking it's good for their kids or something like that. Yeah, it's garbage. It is the worst. Breaks, I break, all of us break, life breaks, okay? Anyways, retro awards. So these are the retro games that I'm going to be talking about. That games are basically the ones that are just, you know, they're part of within the retro space, but they're part of like one of the emulators that I have that is based in these games. In these games itself for the retro awards. This right here is the awards, and pretty much we're going to get to the top 10 games of 2023. Listen, this is my own freaking game awards. I'm Jeff Keighley now, okay? I'm Filipino Jeff Keighley right now, okay? And I'm giving you the top 10 games, retro games, or games that I played right now that was released years ago, and they are bangers. I just heard about them, I was curious about them, and I was like, yo, let me dive in and get me a piece, okay? And I got a piece, and it was scrumptious. It was delicious. It was like, wow, this is a classic. So yeah, we're talking about the top 10 retro games. For my number 10 spot, we got Halo Combat Evolved from the Xbox. Now, I'd never owned an Xbox, but man, this game like sort of felt like I own one. I'm back in like the 2005s or whatever. I'm back in those early years, and here I am playing this in today's age, and I finished it this year. What a banger. It is so good. I've been wanting to, really get my feet wet within the Halo series, and this is a good starter. This is such an amazing game, and I played it, and it was just like every inch of it, such an amazing FPS. I played it with my friend. It is such an amazing co-op game, especially if you have a friend that is into FPS. This one will fulfill that. It fulfills a lot of things. And my goodness, the environment, the world, the starting of literally the introduction of the Halo series. Halo Combat Evolved really hits the spot. It is such a good game. Next up is number 9, Metroid Prime on the GameCube. Yes, Metroid Prime Remastered released this year. I'm all about the classics. I'm all about the struggle. I want to know what it's like back in the day. I want to go back in time. So I had to get that GameCube. And I had to get that Metroid Prime. It was busted. I love this game. It was so fun. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's anything sci-fi. That's why, I'm just so mad that I didn't get Starfield. And also, I didn't play No Man's Sky, and I wanted those, and I know I'll be addicted. Listen, I love Outer Worlds. If you know that game, you know that game, okay? If you know what I mean, man, that game was a lot of fun. And it's space. Anything space-related always has opened my eyes to the most utmost, for sure, like, the Star Wars series. It's always, there's so much Star Wars that I didn't watch, but I was always interested of coming back to Star Wars. And every time I did, especially during Christmas, let me tell you, there's a warm feeling in my heart, especially when that's like space is beautiful. Now, for this game, Metroid Prime, GameCube, with the GameCube mechanics and how it's like so Nintendo itself, I was like almost like a FPS, but also puzzler. And also like, I always was curious about this game. Literally back in the day, we're taking you back to time. Back in the day, one of those demo gameplays, and there was a GameCube one at a GameStop like years ago that I went to. And yep, they were playing Metroid Prime, and I was always curious of Metroid Prime. The first time I saw it at a mall, I was like, whoa, this looks cool. And I've been wanting to play it, but I only played a little bit as a kid. Fast forward to now, I had such a good time with the game. It's like, gritty and also dark, but also just what more Metroid is. Like I'm somewhat immersed. Like it's the introduction of Metroid through my eyes, because I don't play a lot of Metroid. I'm not a Metroid fan. But this one sort of like sets that up for me. And I really enjoyed it. I really do. Like, I wish I could finish it, but it got so complicated. But at the same time, I couldn't help but really, have those, like, I couldn't help but understand those fun moments that I had with Metroid Prime, that it was just fulfilling. It was a lot of fun. And it was just a lot of, like, a lot of space, darkness to it, which I never thought that Nintendo would go into. But the mechanics itself and just how, like, it just reminds you of that time, beautiful. Next up for number 8 is DJ Max Portable 2 for the PSP. Now this one, I played it through my controller. It was like, it's one of those games for sure. The freaking old school, like, music games where it happens to have like rhythm bass itself. And I guarantee you, but for this one, it's so Japanese. It's Japanese, like, tracks with English wording or something like that, or old school English pop artists within these Japanese tracks, and you played them. Now, the reason why Portable 2 is because that was the one I grew up. That's the one I have on the PSP. My physical PSP, which I still have. It's right next to me. And I had a case for, DJ Max Portable 2. I never played Portable 3, even though that works way better. And Portable 2 was a struggle to play on my PC. But it was still a banger. The songs and everything about it, I always come back to DJ Max whenever I have that freaking rhythm game itch. Like, it just fulfills that. I love the tracks. I love the music. it's not like every day that I play something like this for sure. And I have to open the lights. It's getting dark. But this game itself, it is a fun time for sure. Every time I play it, it gets competitive. It hurts your hands, but the music is always catching and always brings me back to a good place. Next up for number 7 is Spyro: The Year of the Dragon. This is the year that I played. That I basically finished all the PS1 Spyro games, and all of them were bangers, especially the first one. But this one, Year of the Dragon, nah, nothing can beat this. I enjoyed so much of it. It's nothing much different for sure, but I had a fun time actually collecting all the collectibles and finishing the game itself in its main core. And it's always such a good time playing as Sparks as well, and also getting to know most of the characters and just the origin within Spyro that was in. And there's a part of me where I wish the GameCube version, there's like, what is it called? Spyro something. It was Spyro on the GameCube. Enter the Dragon, I believe. Yeah, that one's terrible. But this one, yeah, this sort of is like something that I wish it was. Like, I don't know. I just had a fun time. And, Year of the Dragon was one of my favorites of the Spyro series in the PS1. Next PS1 game, actually, is Metal Gear Solid. I could talk about a little bit of Metal Gear 3. I am still in the depths of finishing that. I haven't got back to it yet. But Metal Gear 1, I saw the whole story from beginning to end. There is a special spot in this particular game, and it's the story. It's the enemies. Not just the characters. All the characters were memorable. All the characters mean something, especially for Snake. But the enemies, when you kill them, you just feel something when you kill them. The story that, the struggle that they went through. And I'm not going to spoil it. You got to check this game out. It is a lot. A lot of meaning, a lot of depth to it. And a lot of, now thinking about it, man, it is, it gets to you. This game gets to you. I just had to put it here. It is one of my most favorite PS1 games that I played so far. Metal Gear Solid. There's just Metal Gear itself will always be celebrated, but man, for Solid, for the introduction of it, yeah, nah, this game is deep. It's really deep. Next up is Ratchet and Clank Going Commando on the PS2. Ratchet and Clank is a special game in my spot. It's my favorite game. It's also my dad's favorite game. My father has lived up itself through Ratchet and Clank, but only the PS2 games. And I'm basically filling that role up by playing the PS2 games and hopefully one day playing the PS3 games. And definitely for sure, if ever in my freaking life, if I ever get a good PC or anything like that, I really do want to play the newest Ratchet and Clank featuring the female. I forget what it's called, but I really want to play that. I not only want to play Tools of Destruction, Nexus, all those other Ratchet and Clank games, I want to witness them. I want to know what it's like playing those games. Ratchet and Clank is a very important kind of game or pertinent mascot within my gaming journey. PS2 is one of my favorite systems of all time. Not only that, but literally of all time. And for Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, yeah, this game got to me, okay? There's nothing sad about the game. It's all funny. It's all fun games. It's all, the story's not that crazy. But I keep playing it. And I just keep playing the missions and everything. And it just, especially the arenas. Yeah, that was the moments where me and my dad were playing that game a lot. It's like a father and son, almost like tradition in this game. This game holds a tradition within my gaming journey. And it's because I love Ratchet and Clank so much. And this is the one that I kind of finished. I finished the other last one, which is the first Ratchet and Clank. That one was, man, I love that game so much. But for Going Commando, yeah, it lives up to that. I really enjoy this so much. Next up is Tony Hawk American Wasteland, PS2. For those that are fans of the Tony Hawk series, you know for a fact that this one is the best. Some people may say Underground. Some people may say the newest one, which is the remastered for 1 and 2. Let me tell you, nothing beats American Wasteland. This game is crazy. This game is bananas. It goes crazy. Okay, and that's typical for many Tony Hawk games, but for this one, yeah, this is just not, it's so unnecessary. Okay, it's so unnecessary. Next up is Jack Tree for the PS2. What a time to be alive that I will be playing Jack Tree I have never touched Jak 3. Never, ever. Okay? I never finished Jak 2. And fast forward to like last year, I finished Jak 2. Now I hop on to Jak 3 and I finished that bad boy. You know why? Because I love it that much. I usually don't finish games that quickly or anything like that. And I didn't finish this quickly. It took me a bit of months and stuff like that. But I understand the story from, from the whole way through. I can't wait to play the other Jak and Daxter games, aka Legacy. But yeah, this is just, I can't spoil it. It's such a good game. To me, okay? It's like a continuation of just like where it was from Jak 2. And Jak 3 just fills that. I don't know what it is. I have a review of it if you want to see it. But yeah, I love it. Sly 2, Band of Thieves for the PS2. Now, for the second award for this one, this has to go to Sly 2 because let me tell you, there is a time in my life, this like back in like freaking elementary, where I was literally the boss. I was like a freaking Sly pro. If Sly ever had like the esports, man, child me, freaking 10-year-old me would dominate that. Would dominate that space, okay? They would have me in the Olympic team for if esports is in the Olympics during back at that time, a long time ago, as I put it. Man, put me in the team of Sly Cooper Games because I was literally the boss. I was like the pro. I even call myself the Tony Hawk of Sly Cooper Games because I was so obsessed with it. Sly 2, Band of Thieves took me back to a childhood where I was just so addicted to these games. I couldn't stop playing with them. I couldn't stop acting like Sly, wear clothes like Sly. I was wearing dark blue. I don't know what was wrong with me, okay? Especially in the hood. Well, like, that was a wrong choice on my end. But I literally picked myself as Sly. I would pretend to do pickpocketings. I would do sneak-like games, like, oh, let's sneak around and stuff like that, like Sly Cooper. I was obsessed with Sly, okay? I was a Sly kid. Man, those were the times. And also, for number one, I gotta put it here. I gotta give respects to where it is. You know that I'm a skater. I did put Tony Hawk American Wasteland for a good reason, but I also gotta put another skate game. It's Skate 3 on the PS3. Still to this day, still I play it. I still play the damn game. After all these decades, I will never stop. Because, man, I still play this bad boy. The amount of tricks, it's so different from, skate games nowadays. Just wait till the new skate game comes out. Maybe that could be, like, literally top 10 of all freaking time in my list for the longest time if it ever comes out. The same thing for GTA 6. But at the same time, Skate 3, nothing can beat that game. Not even the new skate games. Get out of here. Now we enter our top games of 2023. This is it. This is where all the marbles are in. I give you the freaking retro awards. I give you the honorable mentions. I give you the worst games. Let's end this. Let's do this. Let's finish this with top games of 2023. This is a mixture of PC and Switch games. So yeah, just a heads up. Anyways, let's do this. First, number 10 goes to Dust and Neon. Dust and Neon is a fun game. I enjoyed it so much personally, okay? Playing that bad boy, I mean on the Switch for sure. Like, I still level up and I still play to this day, It's such a good, shoot 'em, like, shooter roguelike, okay? With the missions and everything like that. I put it in the top of 10 because I guess there's not much to really talk about it much. But, yeah, I have to put it here. I just really like the game mechanics of just shooting around and also going willy-nilly. It's a perfect arcade podcast game for sure. And you're going to see a couple of games here that are very good when it comes down to podcast games. Next up is number 9, Little Gator Game. Little Gator Game, I played it on the Switch. I finished it on the Switch. Man, I'll never forget that scene where the little kid, because you play as a little tiny alligator, okay? And it's just a kid playing with other kids. And that's why I love the game, because it reminds me of playing with other kids. The adventures. And yes, it does bite a little bit of, like, Breath of the Wild. It does borrow some of mechanics of it, for sure. It doesn't matter, because Little Gator Game itself, you basically are just surfing all over the lands, okay? Any island you enter, any place you go, it's always like a new game, a new mechanic. And man, the story itself is deep, especially with, your older sister. yeah, that I got a little emotional with that one with the, some of the storylines in the beginning, but my God, I had such a lot of fun playing this game. I just couldn't help but really find myself to ever enjoy much of this compared to any other open worlds. But for this one itself, yo, this fits. This fits very well. And it does give me that childhood vibe to it. And it's so heartwarming. It's so good. I love it. Anyways, next up, number 8, Dredge. So, yep, I don't know if this was the year that Dredge was, like, I don't know why I refuse to believe that. I feel like Dredge was open, like, was announced, like, years ago or something. But yeah, I guess this year is sort of like Dredge. It was on the Game Awards, and it was nominated. But for this itself, for Dredge, I play on the Switch, by the way, it is such a good time. It's a creepy game. And there's some creepy aspects that I'm into. But for some reason, Dredge just fits that very well. I don't know what it is with Dredge, but I like games that, you progress, especially within this fishing game. You do a lot of things and there's a lot of mystery. Because it really does remind me of this game called Sinking World or The Sinking City, which is a very creepy game. And it just sort of is like a little bite-sized piece of that. Because it is a creepy game, but you're also discovering other mysteries and other things that makes it more creepy. And I couldn't help but love that. Okay, I adore that, especially for an open world boat game like this, where it's a boating simulator and you get fish. So you're basically running the business, not really, but you're freelancing of actually selling fish and stuff like that, and getting different items to power up your boat, and your boat runs quick, and that makes the game enjoyable. So yeah, if you're not really afraid of the game is more enjoyable when you're not afraid, because there's some parts where it creeps you out a bit, but once you get over that, man, the game just brings you into a whole nother light of just like breeding adventure and mysteries and discoveries, and it's just like you just get hungry for it, and I really adore that. Next up, for number 7, is Moonstone Island on the PC. So I played Moonstone Island. It's one of those farming games. I could have easily put a lot of farming games. I mean, there was Roots of Patch that I played. Fate Farm, meh. But, and also like Everdream Valley, I did not enjoy. But for all the other farming games itself, let me tell you, Moonstone Island, I gotta put it at number 1. It's a monster taming farming game. Also, you get to make magic. You also like, discovering stories of just like, it's basically like it's open world. And I'm a sucker for sky islands. Any game that features sky islands, like islands up in the sky, I already know that game is going to hit. You're going to see later on this list. But man, for this particularly, for Moonstone Island, I enjoyed it. I had such a good time playing Moonstone Island with its, witty mechanics and also the characters you can fall in love with. It has that Stardew Valley kind of effect to most other games that is inspired by Stardew Valley, where you get to date other characters. Man, I don't care about that. I just want to discover the world, tame monsters, and you get to tame a whole bunch of different monsters, especially running a barn of these different monsters that you catch. So it has the Pokemon mechanics, but also the Sky Island mechanics, where you go discover different places, different areas. And it does that so well. And the game just looks amazing every time you discover these places, especially with the mixture of music implemented within these other levels and stuff like that. When you're out there in the world, man, it's such a beautiful game. I just had to put in this list. Definitely worth it. Next up, for number 6, is Tevi on the PC. Now, I played Tevi, and my God, I don't know what it is. I feel like there's many games that does these characters well when it comes down to the tropes of just anime girls or just anime dudes or just anime everything. It is so anime, so Japanesey, easy peasy, but it is not an easy game. It's a very kind of like tricky one. It does challenge you in the most amazing way. Tevi itself is a special game for me, knowing that when it comes down to Metroidvanias, it reminds me of other Metroidvanias with its power-ups and everything like that really fulfills the genre so well, but also it has you hunger for more. It really does sort of reminds me of that Ruby game, where I forget what it is, but there was this Ruby, this is this game from the anime series Ruby, and pretty much it is a Metroidvania. It's sort of, this is like almost a continuation of that, because it does sort of reminds me of the mechanics, and it can almost easily be like a replacer of Ruby if you don't have any other games within that Metroidvania space. But this one just fulfills that very well. And, you know, the music, the characters, like just playing the demo, like I've been really wanting more. Even though I haven't finished it yet, I've been wanting more of Tevi. Like I just all of a sudden become a Tevi fan for sure. Just knowing how, you know, amazing the gaming mechanics, and how it's like kind of like my favorite like Metroidvanias right now. Just wait till we get Blasphemous. That would easily be my favorite if I was playing that this year. But for this one, like, it's adorable, just, you know, Metroidvania. Just simple, plain simple. If you know the mechanics of any Metroidvanias you ever played, it goes there. But also, the amount of biomes and levels, you can't beat that. You can't beat there's a lot of levels. There's a lot to do in Tevi. So yeah, definitely adding this. Next up is number 5, Traveler's Rest on the PC. Now, I need a game, right? I need a game that can actually help me when it comes down to just listening to a podcast. But this game is the best one for me whenever I'm listening to a podcast, listening to anything, or just hanging out and chilling. Because this is the most chill game. You're running a tavern. Any game that has you running a tavern, and you've probably seen them if you've seen my streams, I play a lot of them, and I always adore them. I enjoy a lot of games that runs a tavern because I just love that aspect of it, of any other game. And for this one, this has to be the best one. It has that Stardew Valley look, and you're just, instead of farming, you can also farm in the game, but you can also run a tavern. You can also create, like, you know, different foods for your customers and stuff like that. You can maximize your place that you work. You can run a hotel, an inn. You can do a lot of things involving taverns, but this one just does it so well. And I just couldn't help but actually play more of it as I go on. You know, Traveler's Rest is such a cozy, chill game for me. The most coziest right now in this list, or at least for me, in my opinion, because it is a lot of coziness, true Traveler's Rest. And man, like, pretty much, I don't know what other game can do this better when it comes down to running a tavern. Next up is number 4. And number 4 is Black Skylands. I finished this game. It's still hard to believe that I did finish this game, even though it feels like very big in itself. But this is basically like, imagine Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but top down. It fits well for my kind of like equipment for sure, because if I was playing freaking Assassin's Creed Black Flag on my PC, it would probably explode. But not for this one. This one does it so well. And there's a lot of things to do the game, a lot of side missions, a lot of tasks, a lot of mystery, and I love that about it. And it's also involving Sky Islands, but it does it in a very good way. And also understanding the characters and everything of it. It's just that I like this game so much, and finishing it would actually tell you why. But man, it is literally Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You're literally a pirate, right? Even though it doesn't say you are a pirate, maybe you're a pirate, okay? You're a pirate. You're looting, slashing down enemies. The amount of enemies that I slash down is ridiculous, okay? I was going crazy with the game. But man, this it just fits it so well. And also the ending, and also the story, that was crazy. That the introduction to the story and how the title goes in, yo, that was epic. Okay, that was like, so much of this game is epicness. Okay, through Sky Islands and stuff like that. And this one just does it justice. For sure. Next up is number 3, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I played this on the Switch, and let me tell you, if you're down for the culture, when it comes down to hip-hop culture or street culture, this is one of those games. And yes, it is Jet Set Radio. It's inspired by Jet Set Radio. It is leaking with Jet Set Radio. It has that aspect to it. The graffiti, the breakdancing, the rollerblading, the skateboarding. It has all these street aspects, but it does it so well, so futuristic, and so funky. Like, the tracks in this game are bangers. They're straight bangers. And the characters, they're just, all of them are interesting. All of them have their own flow and own, like, you know, visuality when it comes down to understanding who these characters are. And it does it so well. I couldn't help but, you know, feel like, yeah, this is actually one of the best that does that when it comes down to street culture itself. And I've been seeing a bunch of TikToks of different music of just playing this, and also like the aesthetic that it gives, and also like, man, imagine cyberpunk, 2077, but you are adding breakdancing and also some cool aesthetics to it, okay? And also some skateboarding, and also some like it basically, that's what it is, okay? I haven't never played cyberpunk. I don't know what it's like, but I know for a fact that, this is kind of like a funky version of it. It's in the name, cyberpunk. Next up is number 2, Planet of Lana on the PC. What a beautiful game. This is such an emotional, just driven game that I played. It is so simple, so nice. The story, the environments, the world, the music, and everything. It is such a treat. I couldn't really believe my eyes of just witnessing that. Like, that is so good. It's like, also there's parts of it where it doesn't hold back. It's heartbreaking. Some of it is dark, but man, it is so it's orchestrated in a way where it doesn't disappoint. Planet of Lana for sure delivers. And like, for a game like this, like, I was like so happy, and I did stream playing it, of course, but finishing it all the way through, man, what a treat. Like, it's just a very like high-rise kind of like futuristic game, but also not really that fully graphic itself, and it doesn't need to be. It relies on the story. It relies on the narrative, and I really do enjoy parts of it, even though most of the characters do not speak. I don't think any of them speak, but what speaks is like the direction, the face dialogue, the music. Like, enough of that is actually adding the game almost like a movie itself. It's such a beautiful game, for sure. And number 1 is Skater XL on the Switch. Listen, guys, I know this is the most. We gotta put Planet of Lana at number 1, but if I had to be honest here, okay, this is one of my. I'm addicted to this game. I literally spent 24 hours in this game, and I just bought this last week, okay? Skater XL is a game that I've been wanting to play for the longest time. I'm talking about like 3 years of waiting for it to be in the Switch so I can freaking play it. And now it's out now, and I'm playing it, and I don't care. It's the best game. Listen, there's a reason why Skate 3 is my favorite game of all time. Skater XL? Are you kidding me? Any skateboard game would easily dominate. This one doesn't have no story. It has nothing. You just jump right in and boom, you're just doing it. You're just actually, we're doing this? Yeah, you're doing it. You're skating. Okay, add like maps to it and everything. I'm looking forward to some updates and all of that. It hits. It's so good. Like, after playing this, I never touched Session. I was like, get Session out of here. Skate XL, now that's the skate game. That's the game. That's the best sports game and everything like that. It just hits. It's just up there. This is my, like, come on. Skater XL for me, like, I've been wanting for this, okay? And since its shadow dropped out of nowhere, I was like, what? I stopped what I was doing, probably work, and I'm like, yo, I need to go home and download this bad boy. And it delivers. It is worth it. Oh my God. As a skateboarder, as a person that skates, okay, not as much, to be honest, but this game itself, man, it gets me hungry for skating. The mechanics, the grinds, the everything, the challenges, like, it just adds so well. It does everything within Session, but better. It is so, like, the levels and everything. It is a perfect podcast game. The amount of things you can do, the amount of challenges in its realistic way, it's sort of just giving me those, like, Skate 3 flashbacks. And, man, it hits. And it pretty much should give you why, like, I put this game in the top 1 list. We're talking about most played games here. I have never played so much Skater XL until now. But, my God, I went all in. I went all in on Skater XL. I was like, forget about the videos, forget about work. I'm going to just listen to a bunch of podcasts and just play Skater XL every day. It is, and I'm willing to do that. I'm already doing that right now. Oh my God, I love this game so much. You have no idea. But of course, every game in this list is top one. Probably more than one than Scare Excel for sure, if you're not into skate games, or if you're not crazy of like skate games like me, because let me tell you, I'm a psycho for skate games. But it's pretty much fair to say that all these other games, from its story, from its gameplay mechanics, because the gameplay mechanics on all these games is worth it 100%. I'm talking about hours of fun and non-stop goodness. You'll be addicted. But other than that, thank you guys. This has been a good year, 2023. I'm a game channel for now on, for sure. I'm still going to do reads probably. But if I'm not, you know I'm out here gaming. I get on the game. Thank you guys for watching. Love, comment, subscribe. And you know what? You have a good Christmas. You have a good New Year. God bless. One love. Peace.